For Thursday, December 7th, my name is John Milliker, and I'm the club president for the 2023-2024 season. The Arundel Camera Club was founded in 1957 and exists to promote the arts, science, and education in all aspects and fields of photography. For more information about us, please visit arundelcameraclub.org on the web. We're, of course, happy to be meeting in person again. If you are local to Anne Arundel County, Maryland, we encourage you to visit us at the Severna Park Baptist Church, located at 506 Benfield Road, Severna Park, Maryland. Do we have any announcements before we move on to tonight's contest? I'm seeing nobody for the announcements. I did want to, oh, yes. Party. Christine will talk about the wonderful party. The Hockles reminded us they are excited to have us back in their wonderful, beautiful home. Before we move on there, I wanted to make a quick comment about last week's stream. For those of you that were here, for those of you that were online, what happened was we had a print contest, and somebody who will not be named submitted a very provocative photo of a building. No, it wasn't. It was totally PG-13. It was a photo of a building, and the Facebook algorithm flagged us for sexual or adult content, took our video down immediately, put a strike on us, put a strike on me, bad stuff. I submitted it for review, even though Facebook didn't seem like it wanted to allow me to do that. And Mike, thankfully, before we left, brought it up and found that Facebook did review it and found us not in violation. There was no apology. There was no "you were right." You were not wrong. So I think that's the best we're going to get for Facebook. But I really wanted to reach out to that. We do push that we are a family-friendly club and a family-friendly group. We don't post a lot of things, and nudity or sexual content is certainly not something that we ever will post. We want to make sure that the club is family-friendly, and we do allow people under the age of 18 to come out and join us at the Camera Club, but with a parent or guardian with them at all times. Just to reiterate, the club is welcome to all, and we want to create a welcoming and family-friendly environment for that. What do you do if the stream dies? What happened back then, and what's happened previously the last couple years, the stream will just die. If that happens for you, I want to make sure that you do a refresh. Make sure you refresh the stream. That's 99% of the time. The old computer trick of turning it off and back on again works for the stream. Close out your web browser, bring the web browser back. If for some reason we do get taken down, keep an eye on the Facebook group. We will post, hey, something's wrong. Hey, we messed something up. Hey, Facebook, hey, the internet, whatever. And we will usually try to push that stream and start to stream again like what happened last week. So I really wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that. What happened, kind of reiterating that's not who we are, and what do you do if the stream dies? Number one, come in person if you can. Number two, refresh the stream, refresh the group, and keep an eye on the group. We will post updates to that for those people. So thank you for letting me talk a little bit about that. Let's bring up, do we have any announcements from the MPA? Ron? Nothing currently at this point. Anybody joining us for the first time? Nope. I see familiar faces. Glad to see everybody back. Christine, would you like to come around? Christine is our programs chair, and she's going to talk a little bit about our upcoming schedule, and then we'll pass it over to Ron. We have our judge excited to talk with us and see some amazing images on the phone right now. Here you go, Christine.
Good evening. Next week is our Christmas party at Kathy and Greg Hockles. It is a potluck, and everyone is welcome to bring a gift of $25 or less. And we have a fun time exchanging gifts. It takes most of the evening, and a lot of hilarity is involved, and we all have an awesome time. There is a potluck sign up online. See your email from Mike that tells you the address and gives all that information. Is there anything else I'm missing?
Come one, come all.
Come one, come all. Come enjoy. It's a great time. And then the weekend after that is supposed to be our field trip to Longwood Gardens, but a substitute day was put out because
there's one position. There's a position available at 10 o'clock in the morning. So what a lot of us we're just going other times. Just pick a date that's convenient for you and sign up.
Just make sure you buy your tickets online and don't show up unless you already have a ticket because you will not be able to get in. Next, on the December 21st is our next print contest, which is color monochrome prints with the theme of Craftsmen and Artisans. And then the 28th is no meeting, so don't show up between Christmas and New Year's, but most of us already know that. January 4th is a program by Padma Nguva on photographing places of worship, which will help you with contests next spring. And then on July 11th is our next digital contest with the theme of open. January, sorry. I'm sorry, January. I'm messing up. John said November instead of December. I said July instead of January.
What I heard was some volunteers for next year.
Okay, sorry. January 11th is our digital contest with the theme of open. Now I'd like to hand tonight over to Ron, who can introduce our judge. You already have a mic, so you don't need this.
All right. Excited about doing tonight's digital contest. We've had lots of entries, and we have a judge for this evening. First-time judge for us, actually. We've had, I think, last week's judge, if you may recall, had been here a number of times. Mark's tipping toes into the water for Arundel Camera Club. We'll see if he has any questions as we go, so we'll be gentle on him. He has been an amateur photographer since he earned his first camera as a prize for selling magazine subscriptions when he was in 6th grade. While his interest in photography has always been there, his actual practice has been intermittent because he's been busy doing things like getting educated and having a family and a career. And he's had a pretty extensive career in the food standards area. It's and a PhD from MIT, I think it is, and a few other things that he's done in the meantime. So he's had a considerable work in that area, and we're happy that he's now concentrating on photography, and he has found time to capture images between semesters, on vacations, and on business trips, trying to focus on patterns and abstractions and landscapes and so on. So be careful if you go online to look up Mark Nelson. There are about 150 Mark Nelsons who are anything but Mark Nelson this evening. So Mark, is there anything I missed about you that you want to say before we get started here this evening?
No, thank you, Ron. That was a very generous introduction. I appreciate it. And can everybody hear me?
We're getting thumbs up on this end, John. Okay. And so what happens, so since you are remote this time, to understand, we have a room full of people here. Not a huge show up here because a number of us are also, because it's digital, are at home. And they're viewing us by way of Facebook Live. So as long as you have your images there to review, and we have a good hookup, and John's cell phone doesn't die, and we don't get thrown off of Facebook, I think we're in good shape.
Sounds like a plan, yeah. And I do have all the images. Thank you for sharing them with me, and I will follow your lead as to what's up on the screen there. So
okay.
We don't get too off kilter here.
Okay, well, the way we'll do this, John's going to start off and take us through, we have 3 rounds on the images. First round will be to basically look at each one, and we'll read the title and talk and just take a look at it. In round 2, we'll ask you to take some time to give us some commentary on each of these images and decide on whether they're in or out. And in the first group is novice artists, artisans, craftsmen, and musicians. Those 3 categories, I believe, all together. We have 11 images, and with the 11 images, we will be looking to 1st through 4th and 1 honorable mention. And then after we complete the novice judging, then we'll move on to the next. So John, I'll shut up and I'll let you go ahead and start from there.
Do you want me to read these, Ron?
Yeah, would you please?
Okay, you got it. Here we go. Number 1, Nen Daiko. Number 2, makeup artist.
Okay.
Number 3, harpist. Number 4, Royal Dutch painter. Number 5, accordion player. Number 6, painting on the farm. Number 7, window washer. Number 8, the potter. Number 9, bass player. Number 10, hand painting. And number 11, trumpeter.
Okay, those are our 11 images. That's round 1. Round 2, we're going to go through and give you an opportunity to give us some commentary on each image, and then to let us know if it's in or out as we move, before we move to round 3, where we'll do the placements.
Okay,
So-
very good.
We're off to you. So the first image, Den Nako.
Yeah, right. Mendyko. This musician is clearly really into it, and her partner is enjoying it as much as the audience probably is. Very good composition, a clear subject. The second drummer, the drums, with a little bit of soft focus in the background, provides some depth. The subject is, the focus on the subject is spot on. The colors are good and well balanced. The shutter speed is very good for this. It captures her emotion, but it's a little slow enough to give a little bit of motion in the drumsticks, which is a nice touch. I would suggest the photographer might want to crop from the top left corner, shoot it down a little bit to cut the handle on the drum at the edge on the left, the lower left, and bring down some of that dead gray space. Might also want to consider masking the subject and her drum, and then slightly reducing exposure for the rest of it, the background, to make her pop out a little bit more. This Mendyko is in.
Okay, so number 1 is in. Number 2, makeup artist.
Right. This is an artist at work in an intimate setting. You know, someone is trusting another person to place their hands on their face and their head, and trusting her to make her look lovely. The composition is effective for this. It captures the moment and captures the activity of the artist and her client, or her subject. The light is very well done on the client and the subject. Captures their features, highlights their features nicely. The color is very warm, which also adds to the image. Like I said, the composition is effective for capturing this moment, but I would suggest cropping, again, diagonally down a bit from the top right to cut out the artist's top knot and cut out the dragon and much of the white shirt. That, in my opinion, that really does detract from the focus, which is this artist working her skills on her client. Now, the focus on the client herself is very good, and the depth of view leaves her client in a somewhat of a soft focus. So the image, in my opinion, could be stronger if either both people are in sharp focus, or have the client in the hardest hands and tools in focus, maybe leaving the artist herself a little bit out of focus. But that's where the action is, I think, with this picture, where the artist herself is looking and where the artist herself is working. So makeup artist is in.
I'm sorry, you said then this one's in?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Image number 3, harpist.
Right. A lovely portrait of a harpist, contemplatively playing. He's enjoying the music, maybe by himself, because it's not clear that he's playing to an audience. The focus is good and captures the details of the harp and his hands on the strings, as well as his clothing. The color is good, maybe a bit cool. It's clear that this was shot in shade, but the white shirt seems a little bit blue, so might want to warm up the image a little bit. Composition is okay. It needs a bit of straightening. The harpist's right foot is right up against the bottom edge of the frame, and the chair he's sitting on is sort of hacked off a bit on the right. When you do need to cut images, or cut items in a photograph, you want to try to make sure they're not just accidental clippings, but make it look that it was intentionally cut that way. So photographers this might want to consider a 4x5 crop to bring the right edge in to just catch the edge of the tree and bring up the bottom to just below the harpist's knee, which I think would bring the viewer's focus to the harpist and his interest more. This harpist is out.
I'm sorry, so the harpist is out?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I had to turn my hearing aid up this evening. My apologies. Our sound system is not 100% in here this evening. Image 4 is Royal Dutch Painter.
Royal Dutch Painter, yes. Clearly an artisan at work. The composition shows off how focused he is on his work. He's bent over the porcelain plate he's painting with his tools at hand and his inspiration, the photograph of the picture of the little boat, you can easily refer to it to refresh it. The focus is well done and appropriate for the image. Focus clearly on the plate and his hand and the drawing are all very sharp. And the focus is generally good throughout the whole image. The light is cool, but not cold. The whites are nicely balanced, and the light is very even thanks to the blind in the window, which is kind of perfect light, I would think, for this kind of work. Royal Dutch Painter is out.
Okay, Royal Dutch Painter out. Number 5 is accordion player.
Right. This is a dual artist, a double threat. He's a musician and a facial hair artist, obviously. This is a fun capture, but it's not clear if he's actually playing or simply posing. The composition, unfortunately, suffers from the fact that a large part of the accordion is cut off, and there's almost as much of his later hosing showing as there is of the accordion. The lighting is a bit dark. There's actually a lot more detail in the shadows of his hat and the large feather on top of it. It also needs to be straightened a bit as well. Accordion player is out.
Okay, accordion player is out. Number 6, painting on the farm.
Yeah, this is a very nice moment as an artist reflects on her work. Either she's assessing what next step to take with her paintbrush, or she's maybe concluding that it's finished. Composition is quite good in my opinion. You see the artist, you see what she sees, and you also see how she's interpreting it in her painting. I'd say the focus is really appropriate for this image. The artist and her painting and the palette and the eaves are all in sharp focus. The farm buildings a little bit in the distance is a little softer. But I think this composition suffers from the artist's headgear. The sun hat I think would be accepted or maybe expected, or a baseball cap, but the wings of her visor form this arrangement that just looks a bit strange, and I think that strangeness is unfortunately distracting. Some suggestions that I think might help strengthen the image. The sky's washed out and the buildings are a light and hazy, so it may want to reduce the exposure to get more detail and a little more saturation. A couple of details, might want to clone out the leaves in the middle of the top edge, clone out the gravel path over on the right side of the image, maybe reduce the exposure and highlights of the shrub and the ground on the lower left. But again, it's a nice capture of an artist reflecting on her work. Painting on the farm is out.
Okay. All right, number 6 is out. Number 7, window washer.
Window washer. This guy clearly has some skills hanging up there on a little seat on a rope. I'm not sure if it's actually an art or a craft, but the image is a very nice study in shapes and patterns and forms. You know, the rectangular windows and the window frames, the other window frames, the rectangular lines of the sections of the building facade, the very straight ropes, and all that is contrasted with the curve of the window washer's body and his arms and legs as he's balancing himself against the building to stabilize himself as he's moving his other arm to wash the window. And that curve of that arm is nicely reflected in the window itself. I would suggest that the photographer would consider straightening this a little bit so the lines are clearly, the rectilinear lines are really more straight. And also cropping down from the top left to remove the pieces of the window up at the top and part of the window on the left. Window washer is out.
Okay. Number 7 is out. Next, number 8, the potter.
Right. Well, this is an artisan craftsman clearly in his image. He's in the middle, early in a session of making a set of vases to prepare. He's smoothing one on his wheel before he flutes the top and sets it next to the others. He's already prepared there on the right side of the image. And he's quite comfortable and relaxed in what he's doing. He's currently enjoying himself, resting with his foot on the footrest down below. The scene is nicely composed. It includes and it shows the beginning and end of the ceramics process. You know, throwing and shaping pots as well as the finished pots in the background priced for sale. I think the choice of black and white makes sense here. The colors of the finished pots in the background would probably be very colorful. I think some of these look Mediterranean kind of areas. Some of the colors can be very bright. And I think they might distract from the activity and the focal point in front of the artist, and with the drab colors of the clay and the raw pots and the muddy water and the drippings in the front. And this is the area that's really the focus for the viewer. It's a little tightly cropped on the right. It catches one of the vases, but a very nice capture. And the potter is in.
Okay. Number 8, the potter is in. Number 9, bass player.
Right. This guy is very definitely in a groove. He's very engaged with the viewer, with some light in his eyes and a rather mellow smile. The image needs some straightening. The posts and so on in the background are a bit slanted. And the background was darkened to help make the bass player stand out, but unfortunately it was inexpertly done. You can see a lot of the older, lighter background between the player's dreadlocks, and it just gives it a strange effect. I think it's a nice image and maybe probably worth going back and reworking this from the beginning. Bass player is out.
Okay, bass player is out. Number 10, hand painting.
Right. The artist here is clearly involved with her work, with hand painting or finger painting or combination, which we can see in the background. She's clearly got a few different colors spotted on her suit and even a few dabs of paint on her lips. She's so clearly focused on one process in her work that she's turned away from her art but to do what? She cleaning her hands because she finished, or she loading them up again with more paint to have another go at her artwork. The focus is very good on her face and her hands. She's focused on her brushes, in fact, her hands. Composition is good. It's just her and her artwork. The colors are balanced. The vignetting is a bit overdone, in my opinion. But hand painting is in.
Okay, hand painting is in. Number 10. 11 is the trumpeter.
Yes, the trumpeter. This is a musician in mid-flight, so to speak. He's embracing his horn. It's a simple and effective composition, just focused on him. The exposure works well. You can see his slightly closed eyes behind the shades, and he's thinking of his next note or phrasing, and willing his lips and his fingers to make his horn say what he's feeling. The lighting is excellent. You can clearly see the entire trumpet, but the highlights are where the creativity is happening. On his brow, what he's thinking about, his mouth, and his fingers to make it work. You might straighten this up a little bit and increase the contrast. I think would give it a little more pop. And trumpeter is in.
Okay, the trumpeter is in. And that's all 11 images. We've got, by my count, John, I'll see if you and I are on the same page. Remaining in is number 1, number 2.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'm a little slow today. Let me go up here, go into my attributes, turn off. There we go.
All right.
I'm showing 5 images.
Right.
Give me the numbers, Ron.
Number 1, number 2, number 8, number 10,
Right?
and number 11.
That is a good bingo.
Okay. All right. Okay. And how about the placements? This will be our final round on this.
Yeah, do you want me to go from top to bottom or bottom to top?
It's entirely up to you.
Okay. Well, why don't we do like the beauty pageants and go through the first runner-up and so on.
Sounds good.
Okay. So we have 4 places and 1 honorable mention for this group, the novice group. So for the honorable mention, it's hand painting, number 10.
Okay. Number 10 is honorable.
For number 4 is the makeup artist, number 2.
Okay. Okay. Makeup artist number 4.
My 3rd place is number 8, the potter.
Okay. 3rd, the potter.
2nd place is number 1, Mendico.
Okay. Nandaiko. Number 2. And first place.
First place is for number 11, trumpeter.
Okay. Let's see who our winners were then this evening. So number 10, hand painting, honorable mention goes to Deborah Davis. Okay, and I don't think she's here this evening, am I correct? No. Okay. 4th place, makeup artist, and the photographer is Ken Temple. All right, and I don't see Ken here this evening either. The potter is our 3rd place winner, and that's Kathleen Steele. Okay. It was a cold night, so a lot of folks decided to watch from home. And place 2nd place, then Nico, Monique. And Monique, I'm never going to try to pronounce your last name, but and she isn't here this evening either. And 1st place to Ken Temple for the trumpeter.
when Ron and Mark, when we both went through it, I looked at Christine and I said, that's number one.
Yeah.
That is a spectacular image. Ken, fantastic job.
Yeah.
Take that to higher contests. That's going to win something.
Yeah.
That's going to win something big somewhere else as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody who won here tonight that didn't get a chance to talk about their image, please post your image on our Facebook group and give us the rundown and the details on everything that made that image what it is today.
Okay, Mark, are you ready to move on to the marathon?
Yeah, there's quite a few people enter. It was great. It's great. It was a great range of images.
Yep.
A lot of subjects. So, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. With the unlimiteds, and it looks like we have we have 52 images, and that means we have first through fourth and 5 honorables.
Right.
And by the way, before we go on with this, Bob Weber is responsible for putting all of these together and organizing this. So as these files are put in, I think everybody in the club hopefully knows how many hours he spends on organizing these things and making this part of it as easy as it is. So Bob, thank you so much for all that. Okay, John,
Yeah,
are
well,
we ready?
let's-
We ready for the first round through? We're just going to look at the names.
Perfect. Am I reading these?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Of course, something after my own heart. Number 1, Dark Room Waiting. Number 2, Street Painter. Number 3, Whimsical. Number 4, Lady Musician. 5, Dress Designer. 6, Cut Once. 7, Drummer. 8, We Feel the Passion. 9, A Potter Wraps His Sail. 10, Runway Fashion. 11, Sunday Afternoon Music Society. Number 12, Old Bedford Potter. Number 13, Spin. Number 14, Jeweler. Number 15, Greatest Generation. 16, Need a Third Hand Strum. 17, Musicians. 18, Hands. 19, Fiddlers 3. Number 20, Boxer. Number 21, Mixing Glaze for Pottery. Number 22, Making Dinner. Number 23, Henna in Progress. Number 24, Melt Your Face Off. 25, La Bamba Tulum. 26, Bubble Blower. 27, The Butcher of Bari. 28, Blacksmith. 29, Nathan the Wise. Number 30, The Harpist. Number 31, McPhee. Number 32, Prismatic. Number 33, Measure Twice. Number 34, The Painter. Number 35, Glass Etching. 36, Salt, Pepper, Rocking the House. 37, Dancer. 38, band name, same as treatment, I believe that says. 39, street painting. 40, hands work file. Number 41, the Alpine Bavarian and his hurdy-gurdy. Number 42, playing for college. Number 43, painting. Number 44, artist at work. Number 45, crafting harpsichord keys. 46, tattooing. 47, potter's wheel. 48, artist with a lens. 49, Brazilian samba. 50, silver bowl craftsman. Number 51, descendant of the rainforest rubber boom. Number 52, glass master. And yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I had 56 in my brain for some reason.
Yeah. Okay, 52 images. So we'll take a deep breath and mark up. You have a glass of water handy, and
I do.
and no drinking on the job. You have to have you have a sharp mind on this.
Yeah, this stretch.
Okay, we're going to go to the second round for your commentary. Our first image is up, dark room waiting.
Right, and before I start, I would also like to thank Bob Weber for putting these together. It was very easy to go through these and identify them, so the files that I received. So thanks again, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, darkroom waiting. The subject clearly is about an art near and dear to all of us, photography. I think it nicely captures that anticipation and magical moment in the wet darkroom days when an image appeared in the developer. And it's also joined with the youth of the subject, a young girl who's probably still rather innocent and just the awe and joy of learning and still discovering. It's a nice combination. Technically, the image has some drawbacks. The vignetting is way overdone and embellished, as is the subject off to the right side of the image. It also obscures to some extent the artwork and the subject of the artist in developing trade. Now, the photographer also seems to have used a filter of some sort for a pencil drawing effect or maybe a photo solarization effect, which works to some extent, but overall the image is imbalanced and darkroom waiting is out.
Okay, darkroom waiting out. Number 2, street painter. Right.
This is a clever street photo moment. Good focus, good color, and lighting, the definition in the shadows. The composition of the pose, so-called pose, is good, but the palette doesn't really help and could have cleaned up what looks like a piece of parley down in the lower left. This subject is really more of a practical painter, not an artistic painter. and doesn't appear to really be a craftsman. So, in my opinion, the image doesn't exactly meet the theme, and street painter is out.
Okay, number 2 is out. Number 3, whimsical.
Number 3, whimsical. Here's a performing artist, a storyteller perhaps, sharing her knowledge of nature based on her outfit, or maybe fairies and woodland sprites. The image is nicely captured. The focus is good. It's on the subject, capturing expression and the detail in her clothing and her umbrella, as well as the trees she's leaning against. The color is well balanced, as is the lighting, the detail in the shadows, and the sunlit parts are well lit too. Whimsical is in.
Okay, number 3 is in. Number 4, lady musician.
Lady musician has a very nice portrait of an engaged musician actually playing. You can see by the light blur in her lower hand and wrist, and in the bow and her fingers, and on the neck and the scroll of the violin. This adds to the image, in my opinion, because it's not static completely. It is posed, and it's just a lovely expression in her eyes and her smile. The lighting is well balanced, and the mix is good. There's some warm light coming from above, and then the cooler white light from the front, and the color is spot on. The flesh tones are really good. Unfortunately, her right hand is cut off, and the scroll of the violin is right up against the edge of the image over on the right. There's also some distracting small shadows in the left dark area of the image, and could have been spot removed. Lady musician is out.
Okay, number 4 is out. Number 5, dress designer.
Dress designer is an artist or artisan perhaps right in the middle of creativity, beginning to decorate a desk with black outlining some images that I'm sure he'll be coloring in, similar to some of the paintings in his studio there. He's definitely not a minimalist. It's a very active image he's outlining, sort of reflecting his studio, very eclectic with interesting shelves, filled with interesting things. And even the floor is very decorated. I think the composition works very well. The subject, the artist, and the mannequin clearly stand out from the background shelves. Good focus, good colors. A bit dark, so I would suggest maybe increasing the exposure. And I think there's room, according to the histogram, and I think that would make the colors and detail pop out a little bit more. Number 5, dress designer is in.
Okay, number 5 is in. Number 6, cut once.
Right, cut once. Clearly a craftsman and his tools, with a clear concentration, applying his skills to cut the tile precisely and then put it into place. Now, the positioning of the subject and his tools in the garage doorway with the black background clearly makes it stand out, as well as what he's working on. However, the right half of the image is not terribly interesting and actually a bit distracting. I'm wondering if the photographer included that space in order to capture the dust thrown out by the tile cutter, but I don't know that really adds to the activity that the craftsman is undertaking, and quite frankly, all the other stuff is very distracting. Cut once is out.
Okay, number 6 is out. Number 7, drummer.
Drummer. This is definitely in theme. We've got a musician, passionate probably, and really enjoys playing his drums, but he's playing it very cool behind his shades. Good focus, nice choice of shutter speed to catch a bit of motion in his front arm and the drumstick there. The color balance is a bit blue, so might want to warm that up, in my opinion. The composition is full throttle centered, so a little bit static. You might consider the next time you're shooting a scene like this to move to one side or the other to get an angle for a little bit more depth. But also watch out for that split in the panel in the back behind the drummer. At least it's not coming out of his head, the top of his head. Anyway, cool guy. The number 7 drummer is out.
Okay, number 7 is out. Number 8, we feel the passion.
Number 8, we feel the passion. A passionate musician, as the title says. It's a simple, straightforward composition. Lets the viewer really focus on the performer and the passion he is feeling and expressing with his playing and his singing. I think the shutter speed's well chosen. It captures his face well, shows just a bit of motion in his strumming hand. Exposure's quite good, yet it's under a spotlight, but there's still lots of detail and nothing is blown out. He's a little bit two-dimensional because the shadow falls off pretty sharply from his back behind him. I tried increasing the shadows and it brought up some of the sheer on his back, but it was very noisy. But maybe with applicating some software that might clean that up a little bit and give a little more volume to him. But still, again, a very straightforward, striking composition. Number 8, we feel the passion is in.
Okay, number 8 is in. Number 9, a potter wraps his sail.
Yeah, this has very nice lighting and color. The focus on the hands is quite good. As to the detail on his hands, the clay, his fingernails, and on his knuckles. The shutter speed is good too. Yeah, there's just a little bit of motion and his thumbs moving and a little bit of the paper. He's clearly wrapping this item up. Image could be a little stronger if the wrapping closest to a viewer were a little more sharp, but although this image doesn't clearly meet the theme, without the title telling us that these are potter's hands, this could be anybody with dirty hands wrapping something up in paper, or maybe getting ready to crumple up the paper and throw away the wrapping from something he brought home already. A potter wraps his sail is out.
Okay, the potter is out. Number 10, runway fashion.
Runway fashion. First, did somebody tell me her name and phone number? Exposure is very well done. It's managing the spotlight on the model and the rest of the ambient light in the room, and the color is very good as well. Skin tones are very believable. Focus is spot on with lots of detail on the subject, her dress and her mask, and the angle of the photographer. He captures the knees and so on of the people, spectators watching on the left, but that's just probably where he or she could be positioned. The subject here, however, is the messenger of the art, the model wearing the dress, not the artist or designer who actually made the dress. So not quite on theme. So runway fashion is out.
Okay, number 10 is out. Number 11, Sunday Afternoon Music Society.
Right, I really like this image. The subject is not just the artist, the musicians who are creating and making the music that they really like, but it also includes little girls who feel that music and are dancing along to it in the background. I like the way the focus is on this. The musicians who are making the music in the foreground are a little softer, and the sharpness of the focus is reserved for the little girls in the back, hopping around and dancing around. Couple suggestions. The legs of the musician on the far right are cut off and sort of little disembodied and a little distracting, so you might consider cropping it in from the right over to one of the other shoulders of the, maybe better, the left shoulder of the mandolin player. Also, the girls are in shadows, but I think they can be realistically lightened up a bit and maybe warmed up a touch too. Again, I think this is a lovely image of people making music and people enjoying it. Sunday Afternoon Music Society is in.
Okay, number 11 is in. Number 12, Old Bedford Potter.
Old Bedford Potter. A good capture of an artisan at work. The focus, the color, and the composition show him working on it, but basically is good, but he seems to be heading out or leaning out of the frame over to the right. It is clearly an artisan at work, but somewhat of a legacy image, not a lot of drama in it. So Old Bedford Potter is out.
Okay, number 12 is out. Number 13 is Spin.
Right, this is clearly a craftswoman at work. The exposure is well done, resulting in good light on the subject and the interior of the room, and catching the motion of the spinning wheel. Focus is very good for the subject, and the overall color is very real. Now, I suppose if you spun yarn for a long time, you can do it by feel. The thickness of the yarn, thickness of the tension of the wool coming in, as this woman seems to be doing. It just seems a bit odd that she's looking away from her work, not engaged with the photographer either. I think the composition would be stronger with a horizontal aspect to make sure it includes the whole wheel, or maybe come in a little closer and just focus in on her hands and part of the wheel. Spin is out.
Okay, number 13 is out. Number 14, Jeweler.
Yeah, now this is a craftswoman very intent on her work. The exposure is well done, and her face and her hands are well focused. And the focus nicely drops away from her face and her hands, which are the center of the attention. The exposure also balances the light over her workbench with the light from the outside coming through the different windows in the back of the room. Although it does seem a bit blue, so you might want to warm this up a little bit, which I think also would lighten up her face a touch as well. Composition is well done for this. It captures not only her work, but a good portion of the room in front and behind her, her other tools and materials. The photographer might want to consider a 16 by 9 aspect to crop out the work table at the bottom of the picture. That's a bit too much dead space, I think, and it would help focus on, bring the focus up a little again to this jeweler and her focus on her work. Jeweler is in.
Okay, number 14 is in. Number 15, Greatest Generation.
Yeah, now this photo shares an intimate moment for the two military men. The artist, their artisan, is, I'm guessing, a gentleman on the right who has created a model of a military diver, it looks like, maybe representing what was his service back in the day and sharing it with a younger man. While the image clearly tells a story, it has been significantly over-processed and really not too well. There are a lot of artifacts in it and not much shading. So a lovely moment, but Greatest Generation is out.
Okay, number 13 is out. I'm sorry, number 15 is out. Might need new glasses here. Number 16, Need a Third Hand Strum.
Yeah, this is definitely on theme. You've got a musician. It's well focused, well composed. The placing of the musician, not gendering, between the two pillars works. Might have echoes the two necks of his instrument. Color was a bit blue. I know it was taken in shade, but to my eye, it may want to consider warming a bit. You could use that white on the selfie stick at the bottom as a way to put your white balance probe. But what is this LB stick film doing there? It's displaying his music, perhaps. In any case, it's very distracting. Need a third hand strum is out.
Okay, number 16 is out. Number 17, musicians.
Yeah, a military chorus in full throat here. He captures a nice moment. You can almost hear him singing. The composition works. It captures the group and the director and some instruments off to the side, some members of the orchestra supporting them back on the other side. You might want to consider using the transform tool to swing them around a bit to make them a little more full facing the viewer. Clearly, this is a challenge capturing the right exposure under the very strong spotlight. And I think this time it didn't quite work. It's very contrasty, not much detail in the individual. I'm wondering if this is maybe taken as a JPEG as opposed to RAW to capture more information. But again, a nice shot of the chorus, but musicians is out.
Okay, number 17 is out. Number 18, hands.
Hands, yeah, this is an artist at work, or at least her hands. It's a good shot of one of the details of successful sewing, measuring, and cutting. The color is good, it appears accurate. Focus is good, pretty much wall to wall. Composition is a bit plain or a bit static. It's the ruler and the fabric are just going across the middle of the image. Next time you're shooting something like this, the photographer might want to. I think it could be stronger if he or she were looking over the seamstress' shoulder, so the ruler and the cloth ran on a bit of a diagonal through the image. The vignetting is also a bit overdone here, and so hands is out.
Okay, number 18 is out. Number 19 is Fiddlers 3.
Yeah, Fiddlers 3. Three people clearly enjoying their music and passionate about it. The violinist on the left is clearly feeling the music, and the violist in the center is engaged too. I really like the capture of her looking under her eye, looking under the brim of her cap, looking to the leader and make sure they're all in sync, and make sure she's picking up any necessary signals. And their postures say a lot as well. They're very erect and holding their instruments well to play them well. The exposure to the bright sun is well done. That's a challenge, and the color is good too. Unfortunately, this trio didn't select a very photogenic spot. That railing is kind of a bummer in the background. But I think the composition is great. The musicians, along with their big orange tip jar and information on how you can contribute online. So you got classical music and e-payments. It's a great combination. So Fiddlers 3 is in.
Okay, number 19 is in. Number 20, Boxer.
Right. Here's a boxer. It looks like he's taking a breather. A nice capture. The exposure is well done. You know, you got good range of color, blacks and whites, the whites of the trunk, the black of the shirt. The focus is a bit soft, however. I think it'd really be better to see more definition in this guy's gun when he's got them. Also, the light is a bit flat. I think it could use a little more contrast to punch it up. Boxing is the sweet science, but I don't know if it's considered artistic, maybe a craft. But he's not. This is not a picture of him demonstrating his craft. So this is Boxer is out.
Okay, number 20 is out. 21, mixing glass for pottery.
Right, mixing the glaze for the pottery this is one of the mundane, unglamorous tasks the potter has to undertake for his art. Mixing the different minerals in the right proportions to get just the right color in that glaze you want to use. Composition is well done. equipment and the mixer in front, the minerals on the back shelf, and the ungainly posture of the potter in the middle, working through preparing these glazes. Nice layering back through the image. The stark lighting is a bit contrasty, but the task is pretty black and white too, but the image does seem a bit over-processed, over-sharpened. There's a lot of ghosting in the lettering on the labels of the minerals and the other containers in the back. Mixing glaze for pottery is out.
Okay, number 21 is out. Number 22, making dinner.
Making dinner. There's some artisanal cooking going on here, but I'm not sure that all that butter meets the dietary guidelines. The light is well balanced. I think it could increase the exposure a little bit or lighten the shadow. The font on the right is a bit distracting and some of the little items on the front end of the table, but a nice capture, a nice sort of legacy image that we all like to have in our portfolios. Making dinner is out.
Okay, number 22 is out. Number 23, henna in progress.
Right, henna in progress. An artist in here very intent on her work and very passionate about her craft. She wears it herself quite extensively. Her face is not in the sharpest focus, which is fine because the subject is her art and her craft. The bottle of henna, her skillful hand applying the henna on her hand are the subject are in very good focus. The lighting is quite good, using a full white-black spectrum here. A couple of suggestions. Consider darkening the blacks a little more contrast. And also consider a tighter crop, maybe even something like a 1x1. I think the sleeves, and all the fabric in the front and the little bit of the artist's cap up in the top right are really not necessary because this image is all about henna on skin.
Okay, number 20.
The patterns are, so henna in progress is in.
Okay, 23 is in. 24, melt your face.
Melt your face off.
Excuse me.
This is a fun use of the lens flare. Melting his face off, indeed. And this musician is he's all in the moment the photographer captured. Exposure time is great. Caught the guy well. A little strum blur. The lighting is not in the photographer's control, but he used it to get the flares. The composition is great. The musician is right there. You may want to consider a 5 to 7 aspect ratio and crop up from the bottom. It keeps all the flair and the musician, but this is that distracting crotch shot down at the bottom. All in all, though, this is less about the musician's creativity and more about the photographer's. Melt your face off is out.
Okay, 24 is out. Number 25, La Bamba Tulum.
La Bamba Tulum, that's a nice capture of a musician playing and singing. The exposure is good. No death shadows, no blowouts. Cut the strum in his hand. Might consider increasing the contrast a little bit. The focus is spot on as well. The image needs a little straightening and maybe crop out the sliver of the wall over on the far left. But the composition of subject seems less about the musician and his performance and his passion for music and more about something going on outside the frame to the right. And who's the second guy? Is he part of the band or another patron at this cantina? It's not clear. So La Bamba Tulum is out.
Okay, number 25 is out. Number 26, Bubble Blower.
Yes, and a rather lewd bubble blower at that. The lighting is well done and the colors are really luscious and the focus is perfect. I suggest the 4x5 aspect for this. It removes a lot of the dress down the bottom, which doesn't really add that much to the image, in my opinion, and also it remove the sort of arm remnants down there at the bottom. But it lets you crop out the gap with a little bit of sleeve on black sleeve on the left, and does leave the bodice of the dress and then the rest of the bubble blower. I'd also suggest maybe lowering the whites in the sleeves and her blouse. They're a little too take a little bit away from her, and then put the focus back on the subject and her bubble blowing. And bubble blowing really kind of sketches the concept, in my mind, sketches the concept of artistic pursuits a little too much. So bubble blower is out.
Okay, number 26 is out. Number 27, the Butcher of Bari, B-A-R-I, Bari.
Right. Macchiolo da Bari. The nice street photo, good color, good exposure. A little tight at the top. It would help to open up the shadows in the store interior. There's a lot of detail in there. And while butchery is a skill and a craft, the fact that we're not seeing this butcher perform any of that, it really doesn't fit the theme. It doesn't really show the creativity. So the Butcher of Bari is out.
Okay, 27 is out. 28, blacksmith.
Yeah, blacksmithing is definitely a craft, and at times it can produce art. So definitely, this image is definitely on theme. The exposure is pretty good. With the challenge to balance the open flames in the forge with the ambient light. The focus is good. It captures this blacksmith and his tools at the front of the forge. He seems to be working the bellows to stoke the fire, but the work here doesn't really pop because it doesn't really show the blacksmith working his craft. There's no red hot metal, no sparks, no hammer work. Blacksmith is out.
Okay, 28 is out. Number 29, Nathan the Wise.
Nathan the Wise. It's not clear if these actors are rehearsing or are in a performance. In either case, they're effectively demonstrating their art. You can see it particularly see it in the expression on the actor on the left. The focus is excellent. The colors are very good. The exposure, I think, could be a little bit brighter. There's plenty of room in the histogram, but this may be intended to be a night scene and have sort of night lighting in this production of this play. And as well crafted as this image is, it just doesn't seem to pop, in my opinion, to show some creativity. It's a little static. There's not much context. So Nathan the Wise is out.
Okay, 29 is out. Number 30, the Harpist.
Right. Well, when I first saw this, I thought this might have been a double exposure or a composite of some kind. But as I looked at it a little longer, I realized that this is a concert, and the harpist in front of the stage over on the left, and there's a projection of her, a video projection on the screen up on the right. This is a very nice capture, and a clever lighting with the beams of light, it's like so many harp strings coming down from the single. The single view of the artist's face is in the projection up on the right, and it's partially obscured by her hand, and so it doesn't really give us a chance to see what she's thinking or feeling about during this performance. In my opinion, this could benefit from some increased contrast. And the image actually seems to be a bit more about the pageantry of the show than about the performance and the passion of the artist. It's a striking image, but the harpist is out.
Okay, number 30 is out. Number 31, McPhee.
McPhee definitely captures the mood. The silhouette clearly is the artist, and you know he's there. And the lighting emphasizes the making of the music. It emphasizes the bow and his hand on the fingerboard, working together to make some beautiful music. But it's a shame about the microphone. It's in sharper focus than the violin and the artist himself, and really intrudes in the photo. McAfee is out.
Okay, number 31 is out. Number 32, Prismatic.
Prismatic is a clever, controlled use of lens flare. The musician, however, is fairly static and seems to be holding the mic on the side of his face, obscuring it from the viewer. So we can't really see what he's doing or what he's feeling. And again, this image seems to be less about the musician's creativity and more about the photographer's. It's a nice capture and a nice way to use the flare, but Prismatic is out.
Okay, number 32 is out. Number 33, Measure Twice.
Right. This is a Craftsman we saw earlier. And from this angle, the subject of the image is clearly him and his attention to his craft. You see the detail in his tools. He's taking the time to measure accurately, definitely applying his skill. It's well focused, but the image has an odd color cast to it, and Measure Twice is out.
Okay, 33 is out. Number 34, The Painter.
34, The Painter. Clearly, the painter has a passion for painting, and you can see that in all the daubs of paint on the palette below the picture she's working on, and she's clearly enjoying herself. It's a classic composition of an artist in plein air. I think it could use a little more contrast, and it should probably crop out, maybe using a 4:6 aspect ratio. Most of the hat and the cart in the lower right and the umbrella up above. Both of those are rather distracting and take away from the image. The painter is out.
Okay, 34 is out. 35, Glass Etching.
Right, definitely a craftsman working on a glass vase with a decanter. Focus is good, but the lighting is a little flat or a little hazy, and the composition is so-so. A lot of the head is cropped off, and it's hard to tell what exactly he's doing. Is he placing the decanter or the lamp on a grinding wheel to etch it a little bit more, or is he perhaps just resting? Glass etching is out.
Okay, number 35 is out. Number 36, Salt, Pepper, Rocking the House.
Now, these guys are clearly into their music and singing. The focus is very good. The lighting is good, maybe a bit bright, but the colors are good too. Crop is a little tight, but no, sort of odd remnants hanging around on the edges. The background is flat and featureless. There's no context for their performance. It looks like they're performing against the wall, or they've been copied and pasted on. That's the effect. I'm not saying that's what the photographer did. Salt, Pepper, Rocking the House is out.
Okay, 36 is out. 37, Dancer.
Right. This is a nice capture of an attractive woman, but other than the title, nothing about this image says craftsman, artist, or a musician. The processing, there seems to be an oil painting filter, at least to my eye, that's been applied, which is fine. Also, some artifacts in the edges of the hair, brittle and crispy, and not really attractive. Takes away from from the image overall. Dancer is out.
Okay, 37 is out. Band name same as treatment.
Band name same as treatment. Yeah, very, very clever, very meta image. Musicians in action in a concert. Exposure is fine. It's caught the action. I think could use some higher contrast here. The lighting's a little flat. Cut through the fog or haze in the auditorium. The classic arena shot. The band name same as treatment is out.
Okay, 38 is out. Number 39, street painting.
Yeah, this is an artist well past just outlining his image. He's working in the details and shading and blending the pastel. It's a very nice capture of him implementing his inspiration. The composition is nice. It shows a great part of his image. It shows his tools. It shows the picture that he's using to copy and create his art. The lighting is good. Maybe a touch brighter would help. The colors are rich. The composition is sound, but you might try a 16 by 9 crop to lose the curve up at the top and much of the open space at the bottom, and bring the focus to the viewer into the artist and his work in progress. Street painting is out.
Okay, 39 is out. 40, hands work file.
Right, again, another one of the skills of a successful seamstress, controlling the stitching, is putting together pieces of fabric. Nice close-up of some craftswomanship. It seems rather dark. There is a lot of detail in the shadows that could be opened up a bit, but there are other post-processing artifacts. It's over-sharpened, some almost pixelated areas and other flat areas. Hands work file is out.
Okay, number 40 is out. Number 41, the Alpine Bavarian and his hurdy-gurdy.
Right, another musician, this one with an uncommon instrument, his hurdy-gurdy. This focus is really spot on for the musician and his instrument. The colors are very balanced and realistic. The lighting, to my eye, on the left side of his face and under the brim of his hat seems a bit odd. Brightness doesn't match the shirt sleeve below it. It's not reflecting. So anyway, it just seems a touch odd, as I said. This is really more of a portrait. He's sharing his interest in his music and his passion, his passion about his instrument to people, an audience that I guess he's speaking with. Clearly he likes them and he's sharing them, but he's not playing. The guard for the wheel is hanging by the string, and the cover over the strings is not on it. So maybe he was describing the instrument to them. Again, it's a good portrait, but Alpine Bavarian and his hurdy-gurdy is out.
Okay, number 41 is out. Playing for college, number 42.
Very nice street photography capture. The young man's passionate about his music. He wants to use it to go to college. He's passionate about going to college. Maybe it's music college too. It could be brightened a bit. The focus is clearly on the musician and his kit. It's a little soft, but the image is composed well. I think it eliminates other stuff going on in the background or over to the sides of the image. Playing for college is out.
Okay, number 42 is out. Number 43, painting.
Painting, yeah, the focus, the lighting, the color are all good here. Well balanced. The composition is okay. The bucket in the pictures in the upper left is sort of cut off. The subject is clearly enjoying himself and happy to be with the people he's interacting with outside of the image. But he's not painting as the title suggests. So is he, and it's not clear, is he teaching? Is he possibly demonstrating something? Is he just come in to clean up? It's not really showing the art of painting. The painting is out.
Okay, 43 is out. Number 44, artist at work.
Right. This is very nice. Yeah, it's a very nice drawing that this artist has created with this pen. Exposure is good. The details in the shadow are good. Even the brights. The brights are very even. The focus is good on the hands of the drawing. There's a lot of in here. One could argue that the clothespins are a little distracting because they're not being used as part of holding anything down. But on the other hand, they're part of what the artist's tools are. Could consider cropping this image a bit to focus on the hands of the drawing. Crop out the crook of the elbow and clothespins, perhaps, is one possibility that photographer might want to consider. In any case, artist at work is out.
Okay, number 44 is out. Number 45, crafting harpsichord keys.
Yes, this is a very nice shot of the craftswoman concentrating on her work. The composition is good. There's good separation of her from the tools and equipment in the background. She's focused on her work, bent over to the work table to file and file away parts of the keys, make them smooth. The focus is good, really good on her. The lighting from the window is very balanced, almost mirror-like. The light is effectively lighting the point of her interest as well, the harpsichord key. Might want to consider reducing the highlights on her back, on her part of her closer to the window, and maybe open up the shadows a bit on her face to help see the intensity of her focus. Crafting harpsichord keys is out.
Okay, number 45 is out. Number 46, tattooing.
Yeah, this is a gritty and realistic image of a tattoo artist at work. It could be part of an interesting photo essay. I do like it in a disturbing and uncomfortable way. It's kind of neat. The focus for the viewer, I think, is intended to be where the tattoo needle is being entered, where it's being created, where the artist is doing his work. But the camera focus seems to be on the tattooist's arm and maybe the back end of the tattooing needle. I guess it's tricky in this situation to get in close with the shallow depth of field, and the lighting seems a bit odd. I would have thought that there would be more light where the needle is working on the skin, but maybe that's because of the metering and reading the white latex gloves that the tattoo artist is using. Anyway, a gritty, realistic image, not an advertisement for getting a tattoo. Tattooing is out.
Okay, you said 46 is out.
Correct.
Okay, 47, potter's wheel.
Right. He's an artist working the clay to make a pot. The focus is a bit soft, but the medium is soft too. The colors and lighting are very peaceful, almost contemplative. I think very much creating an atmosphere that a potter would appreciate to stay centered on his pot. Another legacy image that we all want to have is the potter's wheel is out.
Okay, 47, out. Number 48, artist with a lens.
Right, a good portrait of the artist, doing what he loves to do, taking pictures. Maybe one of his favorite subjects too, roses. But it's a portrait. It doesn't really show his process or creative spark. Good focus. The color, actually very good focus. The colors are accurate, and very nice level of saturation. The lighting, to my eye, seems a little bit off. I know this was taken under the challenging conditions of a midday or near midday sun, but the highlights on the hat and neatly seem to have been darkened and not quite the same as in other parts of the shirt or the pants that the photographer is wearing. Also, the face seems a little bit bright for being in shadow, but that's, again, maybe that's just my eye. The vignetting is a little bit overdone. You might want to increase the overall exposure so that because then the contrast might not be quite as stark. But anyway, again, a very good portrait of a photographer. Artist with a lens is out.
Okay, number 49, Brazilian Samba.
Right, this dancer is clearly engaged with the viewer, the photographer, and enjoying demonstrating her art of dance. It's very good focus, lots of detail in her expression and in her costume. Exposure is good. It's a little bit dark, maybe increase to half a stop or so. The angle of her front leg and hip is such that it catches the spotlight, so it's a little brighter than her face and across her chest. So it might want to selectively mask and exposure, reduce the exposure there a bit. I think it also could benefit from maybe cropping, maybe 4:6 aspect ratio to take out the distractions of the chairs and the pink curtains on the side of the stage. But very well photographed. Brazilian Samba is in.
Okay, number 49 is in. Number 50, Silver Bowl Craftsmen.
Silver Bowl Craftsmen, definitely within theme. Silversmith intent on his work. The composition is very good. You're drawn into the bowl. His gaze also is focused on the bowl and draws us there too. The white towel is a bit bright, a bit distracting, and for some of the other items on the table. So the photographer might want to consider reducing the highlights in those areas. Otherwise, the lighting is well done. It nicely balances the natural light coming in from the window that he's working with in the foreground, and he's balancing it with the incandescent lighting in the workshop area behind the silversmith. I think it could be straightened a little bit. You can see that the window frame over on the left in the corner in the back of the room is a little tilted. I think that would help with this as well. Silver Bowl Craftsman is out.
Okay, number 50 is out. Number 51, Descendants of the Rainforest Rubber Boom.
Descendant of the Rainforest Rubber Boom is a nice portrait of a traditional way of, I guess, curing rubber in the field. The focus is good. The colors are good. Well balanced. The light is very good. The latex drops on his chest and the white of the smoke. Equipment in the background is a bit distracting, and the high angle looking down, sort of looking down on the subject is a bit distancing. But the craft and the skill and this person's interest in it are not at all obvious in this image. So not quite on theme, and so Descendant of the Rainforest Rubber Boom is out.
Okay, number 51 is out, and 52, our last image, is Glassmaster.
Right. A nice capture of a glass blower in his element. He's very well focused on his work, creating a glass vessel. The colors are all well balanced. The lighting is good. Most of it coming in from the left, maybe an open door, open window. Catches the highlights in the glass object. Composition is good. It's very good. It's very effective. It's a nice circle. His right arm is working the blow tube to position the glass object, which is at the end of the blow tube. And then the glass object in turn is held with the left hand and the hot pad, and you can just see the strength riding up his arm to his shoulder to hold it in place, and his face is intently focused on the glass object that he's making. So a good portrait. The portrait glass master is out.
Out, okay. All right, let's take a count here, Mark. We've got to have 1 through 4, and 5 honorable mentions, so that will be 9. And I think we might be short a couple images here, best of my
I
count.
think you're right. I think we're going to be short one now that I'm looking at it.
So I might have to reinsert.
Right.
Yeah.
My bad here. Let me check my notes here. Yes, I neglected, or whatever you want to call my mistake. I forgot. Melt your face. Number 24. Melt your face off.
I'm sorry, number 24.
24.
You want that one back in?
Yes.
Okay. All right. 2, 3. All right. So we have all of our 9 images up, and if you'd like to start with our honorable mentions and work backward, that would be great.
Right. Okay. In no particular order for the honorable mentions. First is number 24, melt your face off.
Okay.
The next one is 49, Brazilian Samba.
I'm sorry, 49. Okay.
The next honorable mention is 14, Jeweler.
Okay. 14, Jeweler. Okay.
The next honorable mention is We Feel the Passion.
Okay. I'm sorry. That's number 8.
Number 8, right?
Okay.
The next honorable mention, the last honorable mention is number 3, Whimsical.
Whimsical. Okay. Whimsical. 4 or 5. All right.
Okay. Number 4, or fourth place, excuse me, fourth place, number 19, Fiddlers, 3.
Okay. 4th is Fiddlers. All right.
Third place, number 23, Henna in Progress.
Okay. And in progress, number 3.
And second place, number 5, Dress Designer.
Okay. Number 5, Dress Designer.
And first place, number 11, Sunday Afternoon Music Society.
Okay. All right, well, let's see who our winners were this evening. Mark, thank you. That was a marathon for sure. And given the fact it was a long list, you didn't cut short on giving us some really good feedback on each one of the items, so thank you for that. So let's take a look at honorable mentions. The Brazilian Samba, number 49, that was Fred Venetia.
That was taken at a fashion show, and I had a flash on it, but there were so many lights going on there. You see the lights on the bottom down there. It was just a lucky shot.
Okay. All right. Next honorable mention is Melcher Face Off, and that's John Milliker.
That is a metal band called Devil Wears Prada, and this is their Dead Throne tour in a past life when I was a heavy metal concert photographer.
Okay. All right. And number 14, The Jeweler, and that's Christine Milliker.
This was taken in Williamsburg a couple years ago, January of 2022. My sister and I went, and I just captured her with the natural light that was there.
Okay. This number 8 is We Feel the Passion, and the photographer is Tammy Gorsak. Okay. All right. Hang on 1 second. I want to make sure. Okay, Whimsical number 3. Whimsical number 3 is Greg Hockel.
Taken at the Renaissance Festival a few years ago.
Okay, that's, now we're on to 4th place. 3 Fiddlers, and that's, the artist is Bob Weber. Bob?
That was taken in Arlington by Alexandria by the Submarine Museum building.
Okay, excellent. Congratulations. And on to Henna in Progress, and the photographer again is Greg Hockel.
The Renaissance Festival was good to me that year.
Sometimes it is. Okay, dress designer. My brain was someplace else. I wrote 5 before that, and I was trying to think that we didn't have 5 placements. So, 2nd place, dress designer, and that's Mike Thomas.
Watching Chris get her steps in. Yeah, so I took that in New York City, I think it was the year before the pandemic hit, and I chose it because it's so garish, the whole setting, everything, except the dress.
What kind of shop was it?
Well, so far.
Yeah, so far, yeah. It was an art display.
Okay, and 1st place is Sunday Afternoon Music Society, and that was my image, I have to admit. This one is at Patterson Park, so you know where the pagoda is. They're sitting right below the pagoda. I had an earlier shot I had taken of them from the pagoda looking down, but when I came down and sat there for a while, and these girls started dancing in the background, I thought there was an even better opportunity there, so that's how that happened.
Yeah, nice,
Okay,
nice
and
image.
that's our winners tonight. Mark, thank you so much for sticking it out and going through the marathon, and again, giving us a lot of really detailed feedback on each one of your decisions. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I hope. Thank you for inviting me to see your images and share them and have a look at them.
Okay.
So hope the comments are helpful. Thank you.
All right. Again, Mark, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Take care.
I'm working on getting the camera back up. The camera decided to go ahead and sleep on us. But I want to thank everybody for coming out to the club. Can you guys give us 1 second to finish up? Remember, next week is the Christmas party at Greg and Kathy's Hockles. It's a fantastic location, fantastic event. Please be sure to make it out there. There's information on the website and newsletter. If you have any questions, send us an email, any of the officers. And then December 21st is the contest, print contest, color and monochrome for the same theme as this is here. December 28th, no meeting. We hope you have a wonderful Christmas and New Year. And we will resume in 2024 on January the 4th with a program by Padma Nguva on photographing place to worship. She did the flower photo. She was a very good speaker last year, and we're really excited to have her back. And then January 11th, digital contest theme of open. So get all your holiday images photographed and put aside. And Christine is not by the computer, so I'm going to have to run over there and end the meeting. So good night.